What is going on, everybody? Today we're going to be talking about 3 mistakes that all beginner comic artists create. And I'm hoping that by the end of this, you will not make these mistakes because I made them. I really want to make sure that nobody else ever struggles with this like I did. But before we get into that, in the background, you can see that there is a video of me drawing the latest short story of Cosmic Casuals. So this is for your little TikTok brain, having 2 things playing side by side at once so that you can pay attention to the video and what I have to say, and also give me the views and the watch time that I desperately desire. The first mistake that all beginner comic artists struggle with is that they don't plan things out. When I started making comics, my first comic was like when I was 14 or 12. I just wanted to draw the fights. I just wanted to draw the cool moments, and that's what I did. But what happened was I would complete like 3 or 4 pages only to find out that, oh wait, this dialogue doesn't make sense, or this plot hole doesn't make sense. And then now I basically had to redraw 2 or 3 pages just to fix that error. All of this can be fixed if you start by writing out your story first. Writing out your story will help get all of those errors out of the way, because it's easier to just push backspace on the keyboard than to redraw an entire scene to fit the dialogue. And I get it. We're artists. We want to just get into the art. And I promise you, you're gonna be much more satisfied with the end result if you do this stage. Also, when you're planning things out, design your characters. Try different variations of shapes to design your hero, or different clothes to design your adventurer. Do multiple iterations of character designs so that you can have that perfect character to carry your story. Also, do any other visual development too. So when it came to my comic, Cosmic Casuals, I had to design the ship. I had to do multiple variations of the ship, multiple variations of the enemies, and I had to do different variations of all objects and characters that are going to show up in the comic. And then once you get all of that stuff done, then you can start thumbnailing. So before you get into the really nice and crisp line art, do a few scribbles of your entire story at once so that you can see how all of the panels lead into each other. Again, this is really going to help you out because it's easier to fix a scribble than it is to fix a finalized piece of artwork. And mistake number 2 that a lot of new comic creators make is that they are a little bit too ambitious. Now, being ambitious in itself is a good thing. It means that we're not just sitting around twiddling our thumbs and wishing for something to happen. When we think of it, we go and do it, and that is a fantastic thing. But sometimes if you are too ambitious, you can end up being burnt out, especially if you are making a comic. So when I first started out, I wanted to create the next One Piece. I wanted to make the next Spider-Man, the next X-Men. And I have a lot of friends that want to make comics and they want it to be 1,000 pages long, done in oil paint on an 11 by 17 canvas. And honestly, if this is your first time, it's not going to happen. I don't give a care if you think that, oh, I'm different. No, you're not. You're just like everybody else. Okay? I don't mean to be depressing, but that's the truth. When it comes to something new, a lot of people are like that. So the best thing that people can do, and this is said by one of my favorite illustrators, Jake Parker, is that you need to start off with just 5 pages. If you can tell a really good story in 5 pages, then you're ready for 6, 7, 8, or 10 pages. Just see how you like it. The first comic is just to see if you like making comics. If you make too big of a goal, you're going to end up getting really discouraged because it's taking too long, or maybe you don't like where it's going, or maybe you don't like how it looks. And then from there, you're going to get burned out because now you don't even want to finish it. And again, this happened to me. I did this many times. When I was younger, I have so many unfinished comics because I just was burnt out. I was too ambitious. Just lower your expectations, start off really simple and really easy, and you won't struggle with this. The third mistake a lot of new comic book creators make is that they focus on being too much of a perfectionist. And I know we're artists. We want things to look as good as they possibly can be. But when it's your first comic, I'm gonna be honest, it's not gonna look good. It's been probably about like almost 20 years since I last made my comic. So I consider Cosmic Casuals to kind of be my first comic in a long time. And I'm gonna tell you that it is not as good as I possibly can make it when it comes to the drawing, at least. And maybe even the writing, I don't know, but I'm having fun. Anyways, it's not as good as I possibly can make it. And that's something that we have to learn to deal with as artists. We need to be okay with it being just good. Is the story clear? Are the drawings clear? Then I think you're good to move on to the next panel. If you look at Cosmic Casuals on Webtoon, you can see that the first issue, it definitely looks a lot more polished than what you see on my latest episode. I think the latest episode is episode 6, because I had to make a decision of leaving the lines a little bit more scratchy than I usually make them. I had to be okay with maybe leaving out bigger blotches of ink where I should add them because it saves time. And that's okay. Sometimes we need to be okay with it not being perfect. Don't be like me. I hope this helped. Goodbye.